if you took away all of the alcohol that was involved in that last thing, that would be, you know, not half shit. How are you? Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon. Where are you? Where the hell are you watching from? Mostly Canada, sometimes Australia, sometimes the UK, Scotland, Wales. This is me Dan Electro, Longhorn, short scale, 2 octave, count them, 24 frets, 24. I love this thing. I got given this last year as a present for my 50th birthday. And it's almost my 51st birthday. I haven't changed the strings yet. Obviously, it's a bass. You don't change the strings on a bass. It's like a classical guitar. The only time you change strings on a classical guitar is when someone steals it. You have to buy a new guitar. Fuck it, this thing hasn't got any new strings. Buy some strings, someone steals a guitar. Fuck off. Move away from Colchester. This isn't the review you've been wanting for this bass, but I just happened to be holding it at the time because it's only got 4 strings and I've had a few. You could say that. Hang on a sec. Let's just edit this. We'll be back in a second. Because look, what's wrong with this picture? Yeah, my face, obviously. That's another sketch knackered. Anyway, kill that off. Back in a sec. That's better. The weather in here, in this room, has been terrible. It's cold and then it's boiling hot again. It's freezing cold and it's boiling hot again. It's dry and it's wet. And all the guitars are just having a real problem. Man, I had a massive freak out last night. Not good. If I'm looking a bit dishevelled, that's because it's robboland, live from Disgraceland. But other than that, yeah, man, I had a terrible freaking time last night. I went out to a gig, had a good time out. My brother came over for my birthday, and one of my nephew Pat, came over, and both played guitar. We were sitting here playing some guitar, having a good time. Went into town, had something to eat. I was feeling a bit wobbly at that point. I've been racing at about 300 miles an hour all day, and no, it's nothing to do with, you know, I don't do speed or coke or anything like that. No matter how I look, I'm not a vegetarian. I know I look like one, but I'm not, you know. The anxiety problems and things like that I have, it just got bananas yesterday for some reason. Over the last week it's been getting faster and faster, and so we got into town last night and I was expecting a gig. We went to see a Led Zeppelin tribute band, and at the Art Centre, which is an old converted church in the middle of Colchester, and most of the time they put seats out when you go to gigs there, and most of the gigs I've been to, the sort of gigs I go to, they put seats out. And last night I got into the gig and there were no seats, and I immediately just went and couldn't deal with it at that point onwards. If you've got seats, you've got rows of people, they're all sitting there, and the things that I have difficulty dealing with when I'm out and about is random shit. So you're in this venue which is an old converted church, very old converted church, so big, you know, stone, everything made of stone, so people are milling in, coming in, and they're talking, so everything's echoing, bouncing all over the place. And when that starts happening, I can't stop listening to the sounds, and which makes everything just start spinning around my head, which makes it feel like everything else is still, and I'm the one that's spinning like this about. So that was good. And then there was a spotlight shining in my face, and it got really hot, and I couldn't see, and so I just, they got to the end of the first song, and they were good, and they said, we're going to do like a 2.5 hour set, and at which point my brain just went out my ears, and it seemed that every single person that was trying to get from one point to another had to nudge me on the way through, because it's always the way wherever you stand at a live gig, every fucker that tries to get past you is going to just, and someone then spilt their beer which they laughed at and didn't clean up, and they were shouting in your fucking ear, and it just got boiling hot. And I just, at some point through the second song, I just decided I had to get the hell out of there, and I just, and the state my brain was in at that point was I was on full, complete panic attack, pre-panic attack mode, where everything's just completely ludicrously heightened awareness and just freaking out. It's like every computer on the planet has just dumped itself in my brain and switched itself on full pelt and tried to work out pi to, like, you know, 55 million decimal places. I don't know, it's probably been done already, but you know. So then I'm seeing nothing. I've got complete tunnel vision, pretty much black, apart from little pinpoints of light that are just not working right. They're just doing all this in front of my head, and then what I can actually see physically in front of me is all the, like, the green and red arrows or whatever you get on, like, Google Maps when you're trying to go somewhere, sat nav shit. And so I'm then seeing all these different routes of getting from the centre of Colchester to my house, which is like 5 miles away, whatever it is. And I just thought, well, I'm going to walk it. I just stormed at this place. And it was full RoboCop. So for all you people that call this RoboLand or Robo instead of RobboLand, whatever makes you happy, I don't mind. The way I pronounce it, because I'm English, is Robbo, because my name's Rob and people call me Robbo, so RoboLand. And in fact, the reason I call it RoboLand is because at my old house, when I used to live up the road a few years back, people would always bundle into my house on the way home from the pub, because it was on the way home from the pub and there's always live music going and whatever else. So, and people used to say, oh, you're going back to RoboLand, where Robbo lives. So that's why it's called that. Even though I've heard that Ed Dana likes to call it RoboLand, because he said, the guy's got a right arm like a fucking machine when he plays guitar. Which was really cool, so thank you. But yeah, so I stormed off down Colchester High Street, and there was a cab driver, and I suddenly noticed there was some taxi cabs along the high street, so I stopped, grabbed hold of one, on the window. And of course then I've got this baseball cap on with a St George's cross on the front of it. Not because I'm a racist, just because it's just a Royal Lifeboat, Royal RNLI, Royal National Lifeboat Institute baseball cap. And it's got this, but the guy in the cab was Indian as well, so I'm there on a Friday night in Colchester, and this poor Indian guy in the cab going, oh fuck, you know. So I got in the cab, was very polite, took the hat off. And the guy was massively good, brilliant cab driver. There was a massive diversion all the way around town to get back into this town. There's only one road in, normally 3 roads in, but they've shut 2 of them down and made one of them one way and the other one they just dug a fucking great hole. And there's all that fire, lions, dragons. And so I got home in 15 minutes. Thank you to the cab driver. Thank you so much, mate. That made my life a bit easier. And from then, I got home, took a couple of paracetamol because I was just like, woo! Went to bed. 2 hours later, I was still just lying there. Got up again. 7 o'clock this morning, I'm just about falling asleep. And yeah, I feel fine now. So thanks for asking. So what I've learned from that is, last year I did really well with all my anxiety problems and agoraphobia problems and things. And I've also got some new resources this year, which I'm not going to go on about, but the person that gave them to me, thank you very, very much, and I'm working my way through them. And there's lots of helpful stuff going off in there. But every so often, something throws you a bit of a curve, and I wasn't quite ready for this one. Usually if I go to a gig, if my brother phones me up and says, do you want to go to a gig, the first thing I always say is, are there seats? Because I can cope with that. Everybody sitting in lines and everybody still, but I can't cope with me being there and everything in the world going around, because it just completely, absolutely turns me into a fucking explosive fucking animal. It's just not. No one needs that. Not me, not you, not anybody else anywhere near it needs anything to do with it. There you go. So I'm trying to play some mellow guitar. I got to kill that mid a bit. Do you think the treble a bit of kill it off? There you go. Oh, blues again. I've got to stop doing that with my shoulder. That's going to become. That's going to become. You try saying that. It's going to become the new. That thing. I've got to stop doing that. I can't stop doing it. Anyway. My brother and my nephew stayed at the gig and said it was a really, really good gig, and I'm going to go and chill out with my brother next weekend and the family, so that's going to be fun, and I will look and feel and sound and play guitar an awful lot better after that. The reason I'm still... Oh! What else is wrong with this? Hang on. Yay! Someone complained. I didn't complain, they just happened to mention. I did a recent video, they said, a great video, no beer. We do have standards here at Robboland. We're not many, obviously, and they're very, very, very low, but you know, we do have them. We ignore them completely, but they're there. It's nice to have a benchmark. It's nice to have a bench, really, just somewhere to go to sleep and do probably, you know, I don't know, what do people do on a bench? Workbench. Workbench. Sorry, this vid's been a bit serious, but that's the way life goes sometimes, and so I know there's lots of people out there that do have problems with anxiety, depression and all this sort of stuff, and problems getting about. So do I. That's why I sit at home and make videos. But you know, it's always good to test your boundaries, go and see where they are. And had I have known that was a live, well, two things. Even if that had been Elvis fucking Hendrix at that gig, I still would have stormed out on fire, Iron Man mask, Robocop, full blown freaking a-hole. It wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference. Even if there wasn't a door, I just would have, and I would have probably walked home in 5 minutes in 5 miles rather than 15 minutes and 15 quid in the cab. But you know, that's life. But there's nothing wrong with that. Had I have known in advance, I wouldn't have gone to a gig where it was all standing. On the plus side, I managed to get to a restaurant, eat in a restaurant. I can't do that very often, so that was a good thing. Had a few drinks, good time, saw my brother, saw my nephew, played some guitar, wonderful stuff. But standing up at a gig, I'm too old for that shit now. That's why I switched to watching jazz instead of watching you know, metal and rock years ago, because you could sit down quite often at a table You know, people that actually bring you drinks and peanuts in an ashtray. That was before they banned smoking from pubs, obviously. I'm not really sure they were peanuts, but you know, it's all good stuff. Thank you, as always. The next video will be a lot funnier and a lot more stupid, but there you go. Take it easy, people, and don't let the bastards get you down, because there's always time to bounce back again. Alright, have fun. Cheers.